my PowerPoint, can you just type in INTEL? Just type in Intel if you are able to see my PowerPoint. Fantastic. We have 61 of you on Facebook Live. Okay, Facebook Live. And of course, okay, would be appreciative if you guys, okay, if you find what we have been sharing useful, just help us to share it out. And of course, you can also do a watch party after this. All right, so don't worry. You can listen up first. And if you find this useful, then you can do a watch party right after this. Okay, fantastic. I see all your response ready, so I'm going to get started. So again, very good evening to everyone. So happy to see all of you. So today I'm going to just discuss about this particular company called Intel and what actually sparked my, what actually got me started, okay, to want to talk about this company is because I actually own Intel and I'm actually losing money. So I just want to share with, just to also let you guys know that I also will lose money on. Not every stock I buy go up. So yeah, this is one of the company that I bought. And last Friday, it actually reported earnings and the share price dropped 10%. Okay, dropped them. I think, yeah, it dropped 10% basically. So what happened is that I just want to share with you what I'll do, okay, for this particular company, whether I will still continue to hold it or will I actually buy more. All right, and also, yeah, basically what is my next action. So let's dive in straight. Okay, but before we go in, okay, very, very important, just to do a disclaimer is that whatever I share with you today is for educational purpose only. All right, for some of you, you can also think of this as entertainment purpose. Okay, if you think I'm funny, yeah, you can also just give me a like. Right, so can be education, can be entertainment, I don't know, yeah, up to you. But make sure if you want to do any action with regards to buying share and selling share, make sure you do your own due diligence, make sure you do your own due research as well. So just a quick fact on this company called Intel. Okay, pretty much I'm sure y'all will be familiar with this. In fact, if you're not too sure, okay, just look for your laptop. On your laptop, there should be this sticker. Okay, quite a number of you on your laptop, it should be using Intel, INTEL. All right, so basically, they produce the processor that is within your laptop. So this processor is the one that is running so that your laptop is able to run fast, lag-free, right? So very quickly, Intel supplies microprocessor for computer system manufacturers such as Apple, Lenovo, HP, Dell, and of course, there is many other brands as well, right? So of course, another quick fact that I just want to share with you is that the largest customer of Intel is currently Dell, and it accounts for about 15% of total revenue. All right, so pretty much if today you are using a Dell, I would say that most of them would be under Intel. But from what I know, that Dell do sell AMD laptop as well. So nowadays, one of the key competitor of Intel is this company called AMD. Oh, okay. Seems like I got kicked out. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, so let me just quickly share on what the CEO actually mentioned. So this guy is called Bob Swan, right? So he's the CEO of Intel, and last week he actually shared this during their quarterly earnings. So he mentioned that we delivered solid third quarter revenue and profitability despite increasing COVID-driven headwinds affecting significant portion of our business. So very quickly, just by looking at this particular sentence, can you tell me, does this sound like a good news or bad news? Can you just type in good news or bad news just from this particular sentence? So it's like half. At the first half, he says solid third quarter revenue and profitability. So you thought, wow, must be fantastic. Then second half, he say affecting significant portion of our business. So it's a bit 50-50. Right, so let's see exactly what happened. Okay, let's see exactly what happened. So if you look at the business segment that it was actually announced, okay, last week. So in short, Intel, this particular business, right, they focus on two business segment. One is the PC centric. That means basically your laptops, your desktop, all the processor, okay, that is under the PC centric. And of course, we have the data centric. So data centric focus more on, like a data center. They cater to the data center. They cater to the cloud server. So mostly is towards the corporate side. Okay, mostly to all the big machine and all that. And of course, they also run some of the IoT, Internet of Things. Basically, sometimes I don't know, maybe your oven or your speaker, inside that processor might be also from Intel. So these are what we call Internet of Things. And Mobileye is actually one of the company that they actually bought over, they acquire. And Mobileye is basically involved in autonomous driving, right? And of course, they do have a bit of business in the memory solution as well. Okay, the solid state drive, and of course, last but not least, the programmable solution group. But you realize that, okay, let's just focus on the big bulk of the business. Like, where does it come from? You can see that 53.5% comes from the client computing group, which is the PC centric. All right, that covers about 9.8 billion. And the other biggest pie comes from the data center group. So basically for today, we're going to just focus mainly on these two portions. But very quickly, just by going through this particular third quarter earnings, you can see that, right? Okay, the major increase comes from the PC centric. You can see that compare year on year. So we compare the third quarter of 2020 compared to the third quarter of 2019. The PC centric portion went up 53.5%. That is a lot. Okay, that is a lot. All right. Yeah, but the thing is, you can look at the other side of the business. The data center group actually dropped 31.7%, which is pretty bad. And IoT dropped by 3.7%. Mobile I increased slightly, 1.28. Non-volatile memory solution dropped by 6.5, and PSG dropped by 2.2. So pretty much you can see that the majority of the increase actually came from just one portion, which is the PC-centric portion. So that is why we're going to understand more about these two, which is the PC-centric as well as the data center group. So starting off with the PC-centric segment. So basically, like I said, this one deals with basically your desktop and your laptop. So very quickly, we need to understand what is happening to the market share. So Intel used to dominate pretty much. Yeah, as long as you're buying a desktop, you're buying a laptop, you pretty much use their processor, right? I'm sure we all came from the era whereby we use like Pentium 1, Pentium 2, Pentium 3, Pentium 4, then we have Core 2 dual core, then now we have i3, i5, i7. So yeah, everything is all under Intel. But recently, if you're buying a laptop or if you just bought a desktop or laptop, you realize that there's another processor that is relatively well known as well, and that is called AMD. All right, that's AMD. So if you look at this particular chart, okay, the one at the top is basically Intel. So they used to dominate like 80%, most of the time, like pretty stable. And then AMD is at the lower end. So it's about 20 over percent. So AMD has been in the market, but not that popular. But over the past few years, what happened is that you see that AMD, there's a rising trend. All right, and of course for Intel, there's a declining trend. So based on the latest quarter 3 2020, Intel market share from 80 over percent dropped to 62.6%, and AMD increased market share to 37.3%. So you know that AMD must be doing something right. All right, that's why they are actually getting more market share, and of course Intel is dropping. So this is the first thing that you need to know. So you need to understand these are very, very funny, right? They say, how come their market share keep dropping, but yet this particular segment went up 50 over percent? Okay, so this is the first thing that I need to explain. Okay, why is it that they are dropping in market share? That means more customers go to AMD, but how come overall they still make 50 over percent growth compared to the last year? Reason is because of this very, very cute little looking circle thing called COVID-19. So what happened is that because of COVID-19, everybody is working from home, and because we are working from home, what happened is that PC sales went up. So everybody is forced to, either you buy a PC or you buy a laptop or you buy both, right? So of course, we can also look at this article. They mentioned that the first quarter was relatively weak. That means first quarter people are still not buying PC, okay? And then quarter 2, right, start to recover, and quarter 3 they are doing pretty well, right? This is basically from all the laptop reseller lah. Right, so they did mention that Q2 and Q3 is where the sales actually just flew to the moon, just fly to the moon, right? And of course, because of that, you can see that even though market share their market share actually is going to AMD, but because of a huge demand, okay, suddenly everybody buy laptop and things like that, so that actually boosted the revenue. So I just want to ask you this question right now. Okay, I just want to ask you a very simple question. Do you think, okay, if let's say you already bought a laptop lah, how fast are you going to change a laptop? How many years? Can you just type in? All right, are you going to buy, 6 months down the road, another laptop? Probably not, right? Can you just type in roughly how long again will you actually change a new laptop? Okay, so while you are typing, I'll just continue because Facebook is a little bit lag. So now I just want to talk about this relationship, this love relationship between Intel as well as Apple. So for those of you who have been using Apple MacBook, okay, if you are using a MacBook, if you go and unscrew your MacBook, you go and open up, you can take out the processor, you will be able to see that inside that processor is made by Intel. So in the past they call it like A12, A11 and all that, but actually Intel is the one that is basically providing the processor for Apple, right? So they have been in a good relationship. In fact, they have been in love for almost 15 years. So Apple actually went to look for Intel and say, hey, Intel, can you help me to do the processor for my latest MacBook, right? So Intel say, yes, of course, I will. So they live happily ever after for 15 years. And then suddenly, right, somebody came in. This guy called All right, so came in. So is like a third party. So after came in, what happened is that after 15 years, Apple prepares to break out. In fact, already break out already. So Apple break out with Intel. So that's a pretty sad story. Yeah. So what happened is that, right now, if you look at this picture, I hope you are able to understand. Yeah, basically it's a plus Apple. So holding the Apple. So they are very happily in love right now. Okay, so yeah, and Apple is happily in love right now. So basically what happened is that Apple decided to drop off Intel and they actually went to look for ARM. ARM is also like a third-party company that is able to do all these processors. Yeah. So ARM is actually the one that is going to produce the future processor for all the latest MacBook. So of course, okay, Apple is still Intel is still relatively sad So Intel say, never mind. Okay, I'm going to take revenge I'm going to come out with the latest product. So if you look at Intel right now, right, the latest product that they just came out, okay, not too long ago, is this thing called the Tiger Lake. Right. So some of you right now, if you buy your latest laptop, they will put down Intel Evo. Okay, very, very cool name, Intel Evo. Then it's actually powered by Tiger Lake. Right, so this is the latest processor provided by Intel. Then they will put 11th generation Intel Core. If you look at the right hand side, this is 11th generation already. So very, very fast. Right, of course, how fast is it? Up to you to decide but you can see based on what Intel tell me, they tell me it's 1.3 times faster, 1.4 times faster. Even you open your browser is 1.15 times faster. Okay, so I suppose it's relatively fast. Right, so the whole technology behind this Tiger Lake is using the 10 nanometer super thin technology. Okay, so the whole Tiger Lake technology is built upon this thing called the 10 nanometer super thin technology, and this is an in-house technology developed by Intel. Right. So before we talk about this third party, which is ARM, let's talk about the current competitor first. Okay, so right now, there's still some competitor between Intel and AMD. Right. Later, then we talk about this company called ARM. So what happened is that why AMD is able to actually come in and take up quite a fair bit of the Intel market share is because, okay, AMD, they actually went to this company called TSMC. Okay, for those of you who actually watched the sharing a couple of days ago, I shared about TSMC. Yeah. So what happened is that AMD, they go to TSMC. So they know that TSMC have this technology called a 7 nanometer. So AMD say, hey, TSMC, can you help me use your 7 nanometer technology to create my next generation AMD Ryzen chip? All right, so of course they did. So if you look at Ryzen 4000 series, okay, 4000 series is basically the 7 nanometer chip, which is the current model. So if you, right now, some of you, if you go and search Ryzen 4000, okay, that is the latest AMD chip that is available in the market. So it's pretty much one of the fastest, in terms of consumer use, right? So of course, Intel, after they come out with this Tiger Lake, right? Tiger Lake is supposed to be faster than Ryzen 4000. Okay, repeat, this Tiger Lake, right, the new technology from Intel is supposed to be faster than Ryzen 4000, right? But what happened if you look at this particular article, okay, Ryzen is coming out with the Ryzen 5000. Okay, and based on what this article mentioned, okay, it mentioned that Intel has historically enjoyed an advantage over AMD when it comes to single-thread CPU performance. All right, but however, according to the test conducted by AnandTech, the AMD Ryzen 5900X processor based on the latest Zen 3 microarchitect, score 6% higher than Intel competing Tiger Lake. So in short, the conclusion is, right, Ryzen, when they come out with this new product called Ryzen 5000, it is going to be even better than, okay, the Intel Tiger Lake, which is the current latest product from Intel. And actually very simple. Why is it that AMD suddenly they can come out with such a good product that is better than AMD? Why AMD suddenly can come out better product than Intel? Is because of the technology of the 7 nanometer. All right. So just to share with you guys a little bit background about this nanometer thingy. Right now, yes, Intel is using 10 nanometer. AMD is using 7 nanometer. Okay. So in short, right, this nanometer, what we are referring to is basically this thing called a transistor. So the smaller the transistor, okay, so basically within this particular space, let's say your chip is only so big, right? So if the nanometer is smaller, if the transistor is smaller, it means that I can put more transistor inside. So when there's more transistor, it means that this chip is going to be more powerful, it's going to be more efficient, it's going to save more battery, and is even going to be more cost saving. So in short, okay, a 7 nanometer, in short, is supposed to be much, much better than a 10 nanometer. Okay, that's all you need to know. All right, so why I need to share with you all this information is because right now I'm going to share with you a more mind-blowing thing, okay, of this third party called ARM. Right, so we look at this particular article, okay, that is released on the October 9th, 2020, so pretty recent. So Apple Silicon Mac is going to launch as part of another Apple event in November. So November is coming up, so Apple is going to launch another big event, very likely to announce their latest flagship of MacBooks, okay, using the latest A14, let me see, the latest A14 chip, right? So what is so powerful about this A14 chip? If you look at the left-hand corner, I have indicated before, is this thing called a 5 nanometer process, right? So just now I mentioned AMD is able to dominate against Intel because AMD is using 7 nanometer. Okay, Intel is still using their 10 nanometer super fin technology, right? But what happened is that Apple is now coming in with their new best friend called ARM. And this particular product is using the technology of 5 nanometer, right? So just by looking at this, who do you think is going to win? ARM, AMD, or Intel? Can you just type in? Based on the number that I just shared with you. Right, of course, which one going to win, we still don't know yet. Okay, but just by looking at the number, which one do you think is going to win? Right, so basically this is what this Bloomberg article say lah. Bloomberg say the first Apple ARM chip would feature a 12-core processor based on the A14X design, and Apple upcoming Macs are expected to best the Intel equivalent in both performance and power efficiency, providing a faster CPU, GPU for Apple portable as well as longer battery life. Right, so which means that this new product that's coming to the market potentially could be way better than both Intel and ARM. Potentially. Again, if you go and Google, if you try to Google, the ARM, this A14, you don't really get much information. I mean, as usual, Apple, they actually keep everything like secret like that, but I do see that the moment they come out, it's going to be something that is revolutionary. Right, and of course, this is what I have shared previously, okay, from TSMC. Okay, if you look at what TSMC say, that TSMC expect 5 nanometer process to account for 20% of revenue. So they do expect more people to actually, or more customer to actually use this 5 nanometer process, which include our good friend here, Mr. AMD. All right, so can you see that AMD is already booking TSMC in terms of 5 nanometer, which means that pretty much that the next generation of AMD chip is going to be 5 nanometer. All right, it's going to be pretty much using the same technology as what Apple and ARM is actually using. So that this is the trend. All right, and just to let you know that Intel is still considering whether to move to TSMC or not. Okay, they still prefer to use their current technology, which is 10 nanometer. All right, so just to let you know, 10 nanometer followed by 7 nanometer followed by 5 nanometer, that's quite a big difference. right? So this is an overall view, just to share with you, is that Intel, okay, right now is most of the product is still in the 10 nanometer. All right, if you see at the bottom, the 7 nanometer is still facing some issues. So they still have not come out with a product that is 7 nanometer yet. Okay, so it's still in the process, still developing. However, if you see TSMC is already manufacturing 5 nanometer for Apple. All right, and of course for some of the future product for AMD as well as some other company as well. And if you have followed us on our TSMC sharing, you know TSMC is already moving towards the 4 nanometer as well as the 3 nanometer. Right, that is actually coming out in another 2 years. You know, so that is something that is really really exciting about. Okay, so that is for the PC centric. So pretty much you know that, right? Their market share is being taken away. That's the first thing. Second thing, right? Okay, although this quarter they show a huge percentage growth in terms of the revenue coming from the PC centric, but again, okay, to me this is just a one-time gain, and I do see that, you know, after this, you know, the thing is going to decline, it's going to drop, it's not going to remain that high, right? So I'm not overly bullish. I'm not going to be overly optimistic in terms of the PC centric portion. Okay, I do see that Intel need to come up with, you know, some better product lah, in order for them to try to capture back the market share. So that's for the PC centric portion. So now let's focus on the data center group. So this is the data center group based on the revenue. So what happened is that if you look over here on the left hand side, you realize that the revenue, okay, actually went down 7%. All right, revenue actually went down 7%. But what is really really scary is over here you can see that even though revenue dropped by 7%, the operating income actually dropped by 39%, which means that their expenses, their cost of running is actually a lot higher. Right, so end of the day, you know, their bottom line actually got cut quite significantly lah. So income drop 39% is quite significant. Right, so what happened is that over here, if you look at the right hand side, it shows you the different market segment within this data center. So you have the cloud, you have the enterprise and government, you also have the comms. Right, so you can see that the cloud is still the segment is still growing at 15%. You know, whereas, you know, one of the most scary part is actually the enterprise and the government segment actually dropped 47% year on year. You know, that really shows the impact of COVID-19 on the enterprise as well as the government sector. You know, so a lot of business actually cut down in budget. You know, so they are actually cutting down a lot on all this. You know, but again, oh, oops, I'm sorry. Okay, let me just go back to this. All right, but what is really scary, right? Okay, is that, let me just show you something. Is that what happened is that early on this year, in quarter one, you can see that, right, the cloud and the enterprise was growing at 53% and enterprise was growing at 34%. Right, so very, very good result, very, very good first quarter result coming from Intel. And then second quarter, cloud, wow, grow 47%, enterprise grow 34%. You know, so first quarter, second quarter, fantastic, double digit growth, 30%, 40%, 50%. So what happened? Third quarter come already, right? So what do you think is going to be the expectation coming from everybody? Expectation is that, wow, the cloud is going to do well, the enterprise is going to do well. Basically, they just assume that everything is going to do well. And then when last week, when they announced the result, you see this, the cloud, wow, dropped until only left 15% growth. Still growing, not so bad, but the enterprise and the government side dropped 47%. Can you see the huge impact? Right. So this is also one of the reason why after the earnings result, you know, people have a high expectation of the growth in terms of the cloud as well as the high performance computing segment. And reality shows that, you know, business is actually impacted from COVID-19 and is not exactly as rosy or as bullish as what everybody assumed to be. So because of that, yeah, the price got a huge major hit and it dropped 10%. Right, it dropped 10%. So I just want to also share with you in terms of this particular segment. Again, right now, over 90% of the market share is being dominated by Intel. So Intel still pretty much dominate the data center, the market lah. Okay, yeah, because they're one of the market leader. You know, but again, AMD is coming in strong. So AMD, this is actually one of their latest product. Okay, not exactly it's the latest product lah, but this article is actually written in April 2014, April 14, which is a couple of months ago, right? So AMD actually have this product called EPYC. So you can just go and Google also, but basically what happened is that this product is supposed to be, better than Intel in terms of performance, and most importantly, it's actually cheaper. So it's better performance and lower cost for the consumer, not really consumer, but rather these people who buy are basically the corporate lah. For example, the HP Enterprise, as well as some of the Amazon Web Services, the cloud provider. So I would say that AMD again is coming in strong to actually take a pie of this data center portion. So again, like I said, it's not going to be as rosy as it is for Intel. Again, they're probably going to lose market share in terms of their data center portion again to AMD. Right. So again, okay, don't worry. I mean Intel still got hope, because we have to look at what are their upcoming product launch. Okay, do they have any exciting launch coming forward? So what happened is that, okay, there is this 12th generation Elder Lake that is coming in 2021. Okay, right? Can we just type in clap? Can we just clap for Intel? Just type in clap. All right. So if you look at that, okay, in 2021 they are coming out with the 10 nanometer 12th generation Elder Lake, and in 2022 they are coming up with the 7 nanometer Elder Lake. So why I clap for them is because, right, you realize that the technology, right, they are still stuck with the 10 nanometer. Okay, I don't know why, but they love their 10 nanometer. And 2022 they are going to use the 7 nanometer, which by then I believe that AMD is already converting to 5 nanometer, right? So hopefully when this product is out, they are able to show that they are able to have a better performance lah. All right, but other than that, I really don't know lah. I really don't know how good this Elder Lake is. But anyway, right, let's look at the other portion, which is the data center roadmap. The data center roadmap, again, their upcoming product is this product called Sapphire Rapid. Okay, Sapphire Rapid. Same thing, you can look at the technology behind this Sapphire Rapid. It's based on the 10 nanometer. So of course, what they say is this is the only data center CPU optimized for convergence. Quite cheap. So yeah, probably have to go and Google and find out what is it, what are they talking about. But basically, again, it doesn't seem to be very exciting to me. It doesn't seem like this is like the best product in the market, but rather like this is just a upgraded version of my current product lineup, right? So this is what I feel about even their upcoming product launch. It's not exactly mind blowing. It's not like this is like the latest, the best in the market, but rather they are just coming out with something that is faster, just coming out with something that is relatively better, but compared to their competitor, you realize that now they are not in their own game. In the past, because they are probably the market leader, they are just playing their own game, nobody is behind them. But right now they have very, very strong competitor, and of course, based on whatever that they are coming up with currently, I do see that the market share again, they might get again eroded by AMD, and of course by some of the other player in the market, like for example Nvidia is coming in strong as well. Right, so let's take a look at the growth of this particular business. So very quickly, okay, this is what the earnings quarter they actually mentioned. Okay, some of the outlook lah. Okay, so the CEO actually give an outlook of the quarter for 2020. So they do expect that revenue is going to drop 14% year over year. Okay, operating margin is going to drop 9 point to 26.5%, and earnings per share is going to drop 28% year over year. So even their own in-house outlook of the quarter four is not that good. Okay, pretty much you can see that they are forecasting that quarter four is going to be pretty much the same as quarter three, or probably even worse than quarter three. So everything is dropping. Right, so this is Mr. Trump. Even Mr. Trump is angry. I want to score something really, looking at this particular figure. Right, but don't worry, let's take a look at the chart and let's see what is happening at the chart. Right, so as you can see, what happened for Intel is that there is a major drop last week. So over here you can see it went down. Okay, so right now it's actually somewhere around here, and in fact market open, is the market open? Yeah, I think the market is open. So market open right now should be somewhere around here, around this particular zone. Right, so I think one thing to take note is that right now it's very close to all this support line. So like somewhere around $47. And of course, the next support line is somewhere around $45. So just take note. Okay, when I say support, it means that when the price reach a support line, there could be potential buying. That means people start buying, okay, at this particular price. So very likely, if let's say it reaches here and you start to see that things start to go up, that means it's being supported lah. Okay, so that comes the term support level, so it's being supported. So when it's being supported, there's a chance that it will rebound from there, right? So yeah, so what happened is that we are seeing whether is it going to rebound. Okay, let's say it comes down and then it's going to go up, or if let's say it goes to this particular level, is it going to rebound? Okay, so that is the thing that we are looking out for, whether is it going to rebound at the support level. Right, and of course, if you look at the long-term trend, I do see that long-term for Intel, okay, despite all the negative news, despite all the bad news, despite having market share taken out by AMD, etc., etc., but overall we can see that the overall market is growing. The overall data center market is still growing. In the long run, more people is still going to use I mean, because of work from home, I mean, nowadays people are getting used to using laptop and things like that. So this is going to be the trend moving forward. So I do see that, okay, looking forward at the long-term trend, I would say that Intel potentially still have room to grow. All right. But of course, short-term, like I said, really have to look at the support level. But long-term wise, I do see that this stock still got potential. And of course, it is right now also already at the support level. If you can see, okay, it's being supported by the red line over here. Correct. So long-term wise, I would say that if you're looking at a long-term horizon, still okay, not the best company to look at, but I think that it still potentially can go higher. But short-term wise, you need to monitor a little bit closer. So this is my exact action plan. Okay, this is my action plan. So what happened is that, like I said just now, is that I already have a losses of this particular stock. Okay, in fact, I'm using options, so I'm already having a losses. So what I will do tonight is very simple. I will cut my losses first. Okay, so after I cut, and then I'll reanalyze it again. So I'll monitor if the stock gets supported. Okay, and if it does get supported at the 2 line, okay, I'll wait for reversal. So I'll check whether it will go up or not. It will reverse and go up or not. Right. So again, you need to monitor it. Of course, what happened if it breaks below this 2 line? What happened if it breaks below $45? Then that is the time whereby you need to be careful already, because if it breaks lower, this stock could go much lower, could potentially go even lower to maybe even $40 or even less than $40, right? So that is the part whereby you need to be careful. So of course, like I say, right now, I will just sell it away first. I will continue to monitor it. If it does rebound, maybe if you want, you can jump in and get some short-term upside if it does rebound. Okay. However, if it does go all the way down, then you really have to be careful. All right. For those of you who are holding this company, even for the long term, if it does break below the support level, do consider just cutting loss, just sell it away. All right, so that's all from me for this particular company, and of course that is my game plan for tonight. Right, so if you have any questions, okay, please do type into the Facebook comments, and then I'll be here to answer your question. And of course, once again, just to encourage you guys to actually help us to share. So for anybody who actually help us to share, and if you can just help us to do a watch party as well. Right, so again, we will actually do the tracking. We won't be able to tell you who is the winner tonight, but what happened is that we will actually track this for 24 hours. So the end cut-off time is tomorrow 10 o'clock. So we will actually track who actually help us to share. If you help us to share, okay, we will be very thankful to you, and we will be giving you this PowerPoint in PDF copy. And of course, one of you guys who actually help us to share will have a chance to win a one-to-one consultation with me over coffee, tea, or Milo, right? So yeah, do help us to share, okay, if you find that this is really, really useful. Okay, let me just answer some of the questions. In how do we look for reversal confirmation? Very simple. If you see that it touches the line, right, and then it start to bounce up, so which means that, right, it must bounce up. So how do you know it bounce up? That means it must go up for at least I don't know, 2 to 3 days. Yeah, that means after it touches the line, then you see for the next 2 days it start going up, up, up. So that means that is a reversal. Okay. Should we buy AMD instead now? AMD, I would say that yeah, it's good potential, but again, it's a little bit overpriced. So I mean, I don't have the chart with me right now, lah. So I can't exactly tell you, whether should you buy AMD or not. But do be careful because AMD is announcing their earnings, very very soon. So what happened is that right? Okay, what happened in Intel could also potentially happen to AMD, which means that the first 2 quarters they actually announced extremely good result. So everybody thought that, quarter 3 is going to be the same, but, this could also happen to AMD, which means that Q3, there could be a drop. Okay, there could be a drop. So again, it is unknown. So again, if you are not too sure, if you are new, try not to invest for earnings period because it can just shoot up and it can also just go all the way down. Yeah, shouldn't be AMD be better? Yep, like I said, yeah, AMD definitely has got more potential, but having said that, yeah, the price has already went up quite significantly lah. Okay, the price has really went up quite significantly. You all can go and check out the price of AMD lah. It's like already almost to the moon already, right? So now it's probably heading to the Mars. Okay, weakness in DC will affect Microsoft earning tomorrow. Okay, weakness in the data center will affect Microsoft earning tomorrow. Wow, this one a bit hard to say. This one, yeah, I really don't know. This is a little bit hard to say. Okay, but the thing is very interesting is that, right, Amazon Web Services and of course all the cloud server, right, they actually announced pretty high growth. All right, so they actually announced pretty high growth. However, for this particular segment, because high performance computing, it doesn't just come from the cloud alone, so it could also comes from some of the big company. They have their own data center. A lot of big companies, they have their own data center. All right, and all this data center, probably they are using this high performance computer. All right, so it does not entirely reflect on the Microsoft, which is on the potential the cloud portion. Is it better for us to just hold on to our cash currently instead of looking for other opportunity in view of the market stability? Yes, definitely. I would say that right now, before the election, it's going to be a little bit more volatile. Okay, so if you are new, probably you might just want to just watch the market, just wait for the election to be over, and then once the election is over, everything is a lot more clearer, whoever won, etc. So yeah, market is probably going to be more stabilized so the direction is going to be a lot clearer after the election. So for now, if let's say you're relatively new, just stay away from the market for a while just about 2 more weeks to go. Yeah, like what PE Chen mentioned, do nothing is also a strategy. Right. Fantastic. Right. Any other questions? Okay, we'll just take maybe about a couple more questions, right, before I'll move on. If there is no question, then yeah, I also don't want to take up too much of your time. All right, do we have any other question? All right, if there's no question, okay, let me just share this first. All right, so again, for those of you who are watching us on YouTube, or let's say this is the first time you are hearing this, okay, do help us to join our free stock Telegram. And if you want more information, you can actually join our Telegram and you'll receive a bonus SG shopping list. Okay, and how do you join our Telegram? Very simple, just go to the link at the bottom, t.me/ultimateinvestorsg. All right. So again, if you're here, if you're watching this, can you help us to, you can also share this link with your friends. Okay, if you know that your friends is looking to invest in the US market, or they want to invest but haven't invested yet, or they are looking to grow their money somewhere, just send them the link, ask them to join. Anyway, it's free. Okay. Right, fantastic. Guan Ming, do you have an option strategies for earnings? Don't have I don't do strategies. I don't do all these option strategy. Don't say I don't do but I tried it before but never make money So if you want, I can share with you but can make money or cannot make money, I cannot guarantee All right, yeah. Okay, somebody mentioned very good Apple. Okay, Doreen actually asked Apple question mark. Yeah, so Apple is actually a company that I'm looking out for. Okay, especially like I said, when they actually come out with this new lineup for their MacBook, and imagine the next generation MacBook, right, is way more powerful than any of the other laptop by any other brand because of the processor that is by Apple. Can you imagine how disruptive it is? Not, pretty much now they really dominate, the smartphone and all that, and of course iPad lah. A lot of us is really using iPad as well. So imagine right now the in terms of the laptop, MacBook is way more powerful. So can you imagine all the designer and all the, if let's say today you're a content creator, even for myself, I'm not a content creator. In fact, I don't really know why I need to use a MacBook lah. But the moment I use it, the moment I get used to it, right? I mean, you get used to the touchpad, and I just get used to the whole way it's being run. It's hard for me to jump out of Apple. Okay, but of course, one of the issue about Mac is that the processor can be a little bit slow. Their graphic can be a little bit lousy. Okay, but this is because I'm using the relatively older version. But if the new version is, like I said, based on the 5 nanometer, the A14 chip is supposed to be way better than any Intel and any AMD. Okay, then I might just go and buy the latest MacBook. Right, so like I said, I'm pretty excited about the lineup of Apple, and of course the potential growth moving forward. And of course, you never know, maybe Apple will also want to jump into the data center market because they have so-called this technology. So what is stopping them from taking a pie out of Intel and taking another pie out of AMD as well? So yep, maybe if I have the time, or maybe once Apple release their latest product, I'll probably do another video on Apple, and I think that would be really, really interesting. Yeah, like what Celine mentioned, once you touch MacBook, you can't leave it. Okay, you can't leave it. So like what our parents, or somebody always say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So if you want to be healthy, you're gonna have an apple every single day. Right, so I think that's all from me. Thank you everyone for joining us this evening. So I hope you guys have a wonderful week ahead. So once again, before you go off, if you haven't not help us to share, please help us to share, so that more people can benefit. And of course, you get to stand a chance to have a one-to-one consultation with me. All right, that's all from me. See you guys, and bye-bye.